Like the weather, the Athletics are heating up. A 3-game win streak has the green and gold building confidence. From quality at-bats with some clutch hitting to solid starting pitching and excellent work by the bullpen has Bob Melvin and the boys riding high. It was a good holiday weekend at the Coliseum, and the A's look to continue their win streak as they take on Joe Mauer and the Minnesota Twins. It's game 2 of 3, A's and Twins, next. It's a beautiful night for baseball. The A's have won 3 in a row thanks to yesterday's 3-2 win over the Minnesota Twins. So they'll try to make it 2 in a row. Our old friend Kurt Suzuki's back in town. It's always great to see Kurt, and Eric Surkamp back up from the minor leagues, and he will take the baseball tonight for the Athletics. So it's game 2 of the 3-game series. It's the Twins and the A's coming up on CSN California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. With Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Last year, Coco Crisp played in a total of 44 games, Ray. Tonight, he's playing in his 43rd game. He looks healthy. Yeah. He's playing great, and as we've always said, he's a big part of this offense. Well,
they say when Coco goes, so do the Athletics, and it started really in Seattle. Big 2-run double down the left field line. He's played extremely well, and it's important also because Josh Reddick has been on the disabled list, so Coco's been in there every day. He can hit. He can steal bases. He got his 300th early in the season up in Seattle, and of course yesterday he led off the game a 1-0 fastball against the right-hander, and man, he jumped on it first pitch and then just first home run for the Athletics in the ball game on the first batter. Not a bad way to start.
Eric Surkamp, he sort of got that Nashville-Oakland shuttle down, his 3rd time now with the A's, and still looking for that first win as he makes his 6th start.
He just needs to try to pitch deep in the ball game. He's 0-3 on the season. He actually has faced the Twins out of the bullpen, but not starting against them. This will be the first time. So I think from his standpoint, with a very, very healthy bullpen, you used the back 3 yesterday, but I think what Bob Melvin do, try to get as much as they can out of the left-hander tonight and worry about trying to win tonight's ball game, worry about tomorrow when they have to, but Surkamp is important for the Athletics tonight.
All right, Surkamp for the A's, and the Twins will send the right-handed pitcher Tyler Duffy to the mound, so that's your pitching matchup as the A's are looking for their 4th consecutive win. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back to the Coliseum right after this.
A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's back. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Eric Surkamp leading the A's out on the field for Game 2 of this 3-game series. It's the A's and the Minnesota Twins. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. Nice warm night, 75 degrees with actually a pretty nice breeze. And it is a very, very comfortable night. The warm weather has kind of taken over the Bay Area.
Yes, it has.
A's won yesterday. Good ball game, good pitching, good defense. The A's a 3-2 win, so we'll see what the Twins lineup looks like tonight. It starts with Eduardo Nunez, hot hitter. The batting average of .338. Then Dozier at second, Mauer at first. Sano is the right fielder. Trevor Plouffe plays third. Robbie Grossman is in left field. Young-Ho Park is the DH. Kurt Suzuki is your catcher and just called back up from the minor leagues. Byron Buxton is in center.
Eric Surkamp, who would like to go deep in the ball game. His longest outing so far this year is against the New York Yankees, 5 2/3 at Yankee Stadium. Did quite well. Unfortunately, in that game, did not pick up the win. The A's did win in extra innings, but Surkamp gets the chance to start again tonight, his 6th of this 2016 campaign.
Defensively, Chris Burns and Coughlin in the A's outfield. Valencia, Simeon, Lowry, and Alonso on the infield. And Stephen Vogt is your catcher, and we are set for baseball as Surkamp kicks and deals, and the first pitch is popped up. Center of the diamond. And Alonso waits. He's got it. A 1-pitch, 1 out.
First pitch, 7:07.
Your umpires for tonight. Tim Timmons is calling balls and strikes. Mike Everett is the crew chief. He's at first. Pat Holberg at second. And Jordan Baker is at third. That is Mike Everett.
Second baseman, number 2, Ryan.
We like to show you the crew chief because he's the guy who does the replay reviews. He's got to go put the headset on. He and the umpire who made the call in question.
And if it's at first base tonight, he can do it all by himself.
That's right. He doesn't need any help. Here's Brian Dozier, second baseman for the Twins. Twins are 15 35. Tied with the Atlanta Braves for the worst record in the major leagues coming into today. So it's been a tough first 2 months for Paul Molitor and his Twins. They just cannot seem to get going. They had won 3 in a row until the A's beat them yesterday. And I don't know, surprising, maybe a little bit, Ray. They won 83 games last year, and if you remember, they were in the thick of the playoff chase as far as the wild card situation goes, right up until the final weekend.
Yeah, that's the disappointment because they had a lot of hopes for this year, and was not foul tipped. Dozier tagged at the plate.
So Dozier is out, and here is the swing and a miss.
The backdoor breaking ball just kept running in off the mitt of Stephen Vogt. See the break on the kind of the cutter slider, and Dozier swung through the pitch a little bit off speed, which is nice.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So 2 outs, and here's Joe Mauer. First pitch to Mauer is in there for a strike. The Twins last year 83 79, and when it was all said and done, they missed the second wild card spot by 3 games. But they played meaningful baseball the entire year. But a different story this year. They have not been able to really put much of anything together.
Tom Bernansky, the hitting coach, standing next to Paul Molitor. Of course, Bernansky, one of those teams, won the World Championship. They won in '87 and '91.
Lowry to his left, and a good inning for Eric Surkamp. 3 up, 3 down. Twins go quietly in the first. Bottom of the first coming up. Now the bottom of the first, so let's check out the Athletics lineup. Coco Crisp, Jed Lowry, Stephen Vogt, top three. Then Valencia, Davis, Alonso, Simeon, Coghlan, and Burns.
Tyler Duffy on the mound for the Minnesota Twins, are really not that overpowering with any of his pitches. Fastball in low 90s, but you're going to throw a 2-4 seam fastball. A's hit it for the first time. He likewise against the Athletics. So a few new names for the Twins in the rotation and the bullpen for 2016.
So Tyler Duffy faces Coco Crisp, and Duffy's first pitch just a touch outside. Crisp at 250 with 5 home runs, 21 RBIs. Didn't wait around yesterday. Led off the bottom of the first with the home run. 16th time in his career with a leadoff home run.
It's amazing. Been around the A's long enough to do it 14 times with the Athletics.
Talked about Coco in the open of our show and how staying healthy and having a nice year. This is the 16th consecutive game that he has been in the A's lineup.
Had a collision yesterday with Chris Coghlan in right center field, and fortunately neither hurt seriously. Both stayed in the game.
In Athletics history, most leadoff home runs.
I think
it'd be tough for Coco to catch Ricky Henderson.
Ricky's
this year.
safe, yeah, he's
maybe
safe.
next year.
Yeah.
Strike, and now it's 3-2, 43.
Irvin Santana, second pitch of the game from his standpoint. High fastball. Coco didn't take it. Took it out for a home run. Santana went 7, pitched well, but not well enough.
Dozier has it, and he flips to first, 1 away. This is the collision that Ray was talking about. Scary for a moment.
That's a ball Dozier hit to right center, and looked like the left knee of Coghlan hit Coco, and right there they kind of collided. Fortunately, as Coghlan got the ball back in, it was a sac fly, but got the ball back in and then went down. Coco was telling Nick Paparista, who was hustling out, I'm okay, I'm okay. Check on Chris, who was hobbling a little bit. Both back in there tonight.
Looked like Coco had just enough time to kind of brace himself.
Yeah. Something that Salvador Perez could not do in Kansas City. Unfortunately for the Royals, he's only out 7 to 10 days with a quad contusion.
2-0 to Jed Lowry, hitting .306 with 18 RBIs. Couple of hits yesterday, scored a run. His 6th game back since coming from the disabled list. Looped foul down the left field line. A's with a 23-29 record, sitting on that 3-game winning streak. So game number 53 after tomorrow. The A's will be a third of the way through the season already.
Play of the game yesterday, Alonso, with the bat of Joe Mauer. He's played some defense, and it showed definitely in yesterday's game.
There's a line drive and a base hit center field. Buxton gets it back in, and a 1-out single. Twins defense tonight is Grossman in left, Buxton in center, Sano in right. Plouffe, Nunez, Dozier, Mauer third to first. Kurt Suzuki is your catcher. There's Kurt. Back in the lineup, had a little, I guess, a possible concussion, but it ended up not being a concussion. He went through the, what do they call it, the protocol?
Yes, the something he said I don't want to ever do again, concussion test. But he had a couple of hard shots within a couple of weeks, and seemed to affect him a little bit.
The numbers for Vogt, 258 with 4 homers and 12 RBIs. Vogt had a double yesterday, 1 for 4. Valencia to follow here in the bottom of the first.
Now this was Saturday. Kurt Suzuki behind the plate and direct hit. And then when it's a direct hit like that, whew.
That's not good.
Now he said he felt okay, but then when he got down in the catching position and his head, everything started bobbing around.
Plouffe may have a play. He will have a play. He gets there, stops, makes the catch.
And that's the key to what you just said is perfect. You get there, you don't drift.
He did it right.
Got under the ball, settled, and made the play. Came in the pitch run yesterday, but hustle to get under the ball, and that way if it does move, which it usually comes back towards the playing field, able to catch it easily.
So with 2 outs, it's Danny Valencia. Valencia had 328 with 7 home runs, 18 RBIs. Pant legs up high for Danny Valencia tonight. I can't recall seeing Danny Valencia with pant legs up high. Got the Air Jordans on though. Got a good clean look going tonight. You think Air Jordans weren't made for baseball as well? Are they?
I read $2 billion worth of shoes sold with the Jordan name on them.
Unbelievable. So whatever they paid him for that, it was worth it. Because now you see baseball players wearing them, what, 30 years later, 25 years later. 2-0 pitch is outside, and now it's 3-0. Well, Davis in the on-deck circle.
10 all breaking balls. Yesterday he swung on 3-0, and he has been swinging 3-0, as has Chris Davis, and we'll see if the green light is given again. Seeing all breaking pitches, you'd have to figure if he's going to get 3-0 with 3 breaking pitches. If the 4th is a fastball and he has a green light, it'd be exactly what he's hoping for.
He missed outside, and Valencia takes the walk. 2 on, 2 out for Davis. So he has done damage on the 3-0 pitch. That just was not hittable, so he laid off it. So here's Chris Davis, tried to give the A's an early lead. Breaking ball tapped over the mound towards short. Nunez charges, cannot make a clean play, and the A's are going to have the bases loaded. It'll go as a base hit.
Nunez only one opportunity, and that was to barehand the ball, playing back, and just kept slowing down. Chris Davis usually when he makes contact gets hit hard. This time hit about as slowly as you can imagine. And looking the ball into his hand was Nunez, but could not hang on. He was not going to get Chris Davis anyway. The only possibility is throwing the ball past the first baseman Mauer.
So a chance for Yonder Alonso. First pitch hit hard, but right at Nunez, the shortstop. On the first side, retired. So the A's leave them loaded, and we're going to the second. No score, A's and Twins. CSN California is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? Well, it should do more. Go to AAA.com for details. Top of the second, no score between the A's and the Twins. So the final day of May. Head into wonderful month of June tomorrow. So some teams and some players are looking forward to getting out of May. And some guys could stay in May for a long time, just depending on how well things are going.
Well, if your name is Trevor May, you stay there a long time.
That's a good point. He does not have a choice. Or Milt May or Carlos May or Lee May. Those are some guys you played against.
Yeah.
The Twins are 8 and 18 in the month of May. The A's are 10 and 17. So both these teams will be ready to move into June. A's will move on to the road. 3 in Houston over the weekend, 2 in Milwaukee Tuesday and Wednesday, and then 3 in Cincinnati. So five interleague games on the road coming up on the next road trip. 3-1 pitch to Miguel Sano, and it's a leadoff walk. So the big power hitter takes a walk. First base runner for the Twins. Then here's Trevor Plouffe.
Batting in the 5th position, third baseman, number 24, Trevor Plouffe.
Trevor Plouffe a little banged up, hurt his knee last week.
So I didn't start yesterday, but surprisingly was sent into pinch run.
That's a good call. Yeah. He's got a bad knee, but he got in there to pinch run. And Plouffe hitting just .246 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. And the Twins are going to need a lot more from Trevor Plouffe. Last year he had 22 home runs, 86 RBIs, and 35 doubles. That's a pretty good season.
And you combine with Dozier.
Yeah.
And then what they expect to get out of
That's right.
Sano. And there's your shift on the left side. And a huge hole on the right side with Alonso holding the runner at first.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the Twins are thinking coming into this year, okay, so Plouffe, Dozier, good solid players. Both had good years last year. We know what Joe Mauer is going to give us. Miguel Sano looks like a middle of the order hitter. Well, that's a decent middle 4 right there, but 2 of them are struggling. Sano's still trying to figure it out. And thus the team starts to struggle.
So the shot of Paul Molitor, of course, a great player, 3,000 plus hits. And he's got to be looking at this shift and saying that whole right side of the infield, and just maybe telling his guys just serve it out there.
He had 4,000 hits if you saw that. So look at last year, 30 and 19 on this date, and they were leading the AL Central. I mean, they really had a pretty nice season last year. Valencia has it out at second. Nice turn by Lowry, and that's a double play. Lowry made sure he handled the throws a little bit low, and he also knew that he had time. He did not rush it.
And it was Lowry taking the throw, and you're right, because he stayed on the bag. Didn't have a chance to come through the bag, but he also stayed on the outfield side, which a runner really is not allowed to go get him. So that helped, but a strong throw from underneath. Shortstop saw strength on the right side. So that time the shift played perfectly, actually, with the ball hit hard to third base.
So with 2 outs, it's Robbie Grossman. Grossman is a switch hitter. We saw him with the Houston Astros last couple years. Started the season in the Indians organization. That one hit toward the right field line. Coghlan moving over. Coghlan is going to watch it, and that's a fair ball. And Grossman is going to stop at second. Coghlan says, I don't think so. First base umpire's Mike Everett.
And he had a long way to look, and Coghlan was looking right at it.
It looked like it actually did land fair.
I thought so too. Yeah, and as Coghlan looked right down at it.
Let's check. Yes,
it's on the line. It's on the chalk line.
And then it bounced up.
It's a ground rule double going into the seats, but right there is.
Batting in the 7th position.
Coghlan let the ball bounce back, but see the white chalk? That's a pretty good indication that's fair. That's maybe what Mike Everett saw.
So it is a double. And here is Young Ho Park. First pitch to Park is up and away. There it is. Park hitting .214 with 9 home runs and 17 runs batted in.
He doesn't get cheated either. That's just watching some of the highlights, the film of him, and first base open, maybe a consideration for Stephen Vogt and Sir Camp to pitch him carefully.
A little bit low. Did not play in yesterday's game. The Twins gave him a 4-year contract. Not for a huge amount of money, $12 million. They did have the rights fee to pay, which was about the same amount, $12 million. So they have a $24 million investment. So they need something out of him as well. Got off to a good start. From Seoul, South Korea. There's a strike. 2-2 the count.
Another low strike called by Tim Timmons. Have to wonder how the umpire is going to have to adjust next year with a higher strike being called. Maybe not so much the low one.
Good swing there by Park. So Stephen Vogt may have said that got too much of the play.
Yeah. This is 2 strikes, and he attacked it.
A little late.
Not quite like Deoli.
No, not quite.
With Seattle, but I don't know that they know the difference with 2 strikes and no strikes, and be aggressive all the time.
Grossman has good speed. He's at second base. And they're going to meet again.
I think this is going over the signs.
Twice.
Because Stephen Vogt using the outside indicator, the chest protector, shin guards, mask, and then giving finger signs. Usually if they do that, the outside is an indicator, and then you go to the finger signs.
And there's a line drive, right field line base hit, and the Twins are going to take the lead as Grossman comes in to score. Park digging for second. He's got himself an RBI double. 1-0 Minnesota.
Hanging curveball, stayed with it, and you know, you made a good point, Kat, because he said just a little bit late on the swing, on his fastball, and so a breaking ball comes in. And if he's a little slow and late on a fastball, the curveball is a perfect pitch for him to do exactly what he did, especially with 2 strikes. 2 outs on the move was Grossman, scoring easily with the ball down the corner. So the big double play, I mean, that was huge after the leadoff walked in the double play, but back-to-back doubles. Both to right field.
So for Park, his 18th RBI, and here's Suzuki. Suzuki hitting .200, a homer and 10 RBIs. And for Kurt, now in his 9th year in the big leagues. Got to the big leagues in 2007 with the Athletics. We remember that.
In Houston, Texas. Good block by Stephen Vogt with pitch in the dirt by Surkamp, but Kurt showed up in Houston, 07. And started catching because Jason Kendall wanted out. He said, and he moved on to Chicago, but Suzuki's done a good job with the A's, and of course, being behind the plate as often as he has, he knows how to handle a pitcher and also to block balls in the dirt.
Most games caught in Oakland A's history. Kurt Suzuki second behind Terry Steinbach.
So they just threw my name in there just
you're you know what? You're a top tenner.
The courtesy, huh?
I'm not happy that Jim Essien is in front of you. I remember Jim Essien with the White Sox. Nothing against Jim Essien, but I just like Ray Fosse.
Well, he was probably here, and I know he was here longer, so it's a big difference.
Foul pop up, and Alonso's there, side retired. Twins get a 2-out RBI hit. So bottom of the second coming up. It's 1-0 Minnesota.
Baseball Live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment with game day, live game, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
Beautiful night here at the Coliseum. And the Twins leading 1-0 over the Athletics. The A's loaded the bases with 2 outs, could not score. The Twins got a 2-out hit to knock in their run.
Danny Valencia had a 4-pitch walk, and Davis and Alonso swung at first pitches. I mean, sometimes, you know, you get a pitch in the liking, the pitcher's trying to throw a strike, but Davis ended up getting a base hit on an infield hit, and Alonso ground out. But it's okay to zone in on a certain pitch. And it's a question of whether Duffy and Suzuki were pitching carefully to Valencia because they did not give him anything close to hit.
Simeon, Coghlan, and Burns for the A's. Simeon at .222, 10 home runs, 23 RBIs. Big curveball from Tyler Duffy, the 25-year-old right-hander.
He's primarily a fastball, 2- and 4-seam fastball, and a curveball pitcher. Occasional changeup, but there's your curveball.
And it's lined to left in front of Grossman.
He thought about it.
Yep.
and decided against it, which from his standpoint is probably a good idea. Hanging curveball to Marcus Semien. Hit a ball yesterday. It looked like it was going to go out. Hit the top of the left center field wall. He said he didn't hit it well enough to get out. Maybe he was thinking about going to the Warriors game.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the Warriors. What a story. Down 3-1.
Awesome.
Have to say that silent and quietly because Jordan Baker's from Oklahoma.
Is
third
he?
base umpire.
Well, you know what? He can become a Warriors fan if he wants.
Eddie Montague, of course, our umpire friend who's supervisor and watching these guys. He said he told Jordan Baker, said, bring me a t-shirt that's left on the seat. So he brought him a Warriors.
He got him. Yeah, that's right. I saw Eddie carrying him in today.
Well, what a story.
So Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals. So the Cavaliers and the Warriors for the 2nd year in a row.
Cavs had to stay in Cleveland because they didn't know where they were going, I guess.
That's right. One and one to Chris Coughlin. Coughlin shoots one foul.
Got it all covered. Steph Curry in an A's cap.
Another one slice foul. Well, we're told by our fine producer Delaire Lawars that it's the 9th time ever that a market has 2 teams in the championship, NBA and the NHL, and NBA and NHL running at the same time, obviously. So with the Sharks in the Stanley Cup Finals and the Warriors in the NBA Finals, only the 9th time that has ever happened. So it should be quite a 2-week stretch.
What was the number on the number of times a team has been down 3-1 in the conference championship, come back to win? I mean, that's
not a lot. Not more than 10. I know that.
10, is it? 10. Thanks, guys. I knew it hadn't been many.
Coughlin bounces one. Nice play by Maurer. Gets the out at second, on to first, and the ball's thrown away into the Twins dugout. So the A's are going to get a base runner at second base.
Now let's see if Duffy gets over there, because the throw coming to Duffy as he was actually on the bag, but the throw was behind him, so he did his job. Important thing here is for the pitcher to get the bag as quickly so he's not having to try to reach back, and the infielder has a target to throw to, and he did. Nunez had a good job at Duffy getting to the bag, and then the throw was behind him. If he's on the bag, or the throw's on the bag, it's a double play.
Yeah, that's all on the shortstop, and obviously he got the air. I think that's one of those, and now you see how the game develops, Ray. You see if the A's take advantage of that. Yeah. That's a double play that has to be turned.
It's just like over the weekend with Kinsler making the air on Sunday.
And that will fall, and it bounces by Sano. Have no idea what he was doing. Coughlin will score, and Burns is going to end up at third. So a bit of an adventure out there from Miguel Sano. Not only did he, it just didn't look like he really went after it, and then it bounced past him.
And it looked like off the bat should have been a catchable ball. Breaking ball down inside to Billy Burns. Sano went after it, and they say it's kind of an adventure out there for him, but he just went laterally. Saw it, laterally went after it instead of charging after it. Then the funny spin on the ball took off on him, and that's the wrong guy, Billy Burns, to have a ball get past you.
Well, yeah, if you're going to back off, that's fine. Well, you cannot let it bounce past you if you back off. So Burns gets the triple. He gets his 5th RBI, and we have a 1-1 game.
And the A's did take advantage of the mistake by the Twins on the throw back from Nunez. Put Coughlin at second, and Surkamp, who gave up a 2-out RBI double, back-to-back doubles to give the Twins the first run. Now has it back even, trying to take the lead.
1-1 the count to Crisp, who grounded out to second. First inning. Swing and a miss. A fastball with a little movement away from Crisp.
Looked like that was one that Coco is thinking about pulling, and see if he goes to the no stride and thinks opposite field means he waits a long time. See how Suzuki handles it with a curveball.
And he got him swinging. Coco chased a pitch that was down.
Well, curveball out of strike zone. And that's a little surprise because Coco usually finds a way to at least put the ball in play. It's a big gift run at third so far is still there.
So it's up to Lowry. Lowry had a base hit in the first inning. Remember, he is 14 for 29 with runners in scoring position this year. That's a .483 batting average. So the guy you want up there, first pitch called a strike, wasn't it?
That's what he called, a delay call by Tim Timmons, but he did call it a strike. I think that just said everything. That look on Jed's face.
Fastball is inside. 1-1 the count. Vogt to follow. A run in for the A's.
Jed's first at bat yesterday, similar to tonight, left center off Irvin Santana. And tonight off of Duffy, trying to get Burns in from third.
Went in there again. 2-1. So pitch number 40 coming up from Tyler Duffy. That one rolled toward first. Mauer has it. He'll step on the bag. Side retired. So a hit, or make that a run on 2 hits, and a costly error by the Twins. So we're headed to the third. It's a 1-1 game. California is brought to you by naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood Lumber and Timbers. Visit getredwood.com. 1-1 game. It's the top of the third. Here's Byron Buxton. One of those names that you've heard a lot about the last couple years. One of the baseball's top prospects. Has struggled at the major league level, but at some point it's going to all kick in, and then he's going to be really good. It was the 2012 draft when the Twins took Buxton second. The Astros had the first pick and they took Carlos Correa, so they're happy with who they chose.
Santana, who played yesterday, injured his hamstring, placed on the DL, and Buxton called up, getting another opportunity.
And let's not forget, Buxton is just 22 years old. So he is still figuring it all out. 6'2", 190 pounds. And last year he played in 46 games for the Twins, hit .209. He has got terrific speed. Good pitch there on the inside corner, strike 3 call. Strikeout number 2 for Surkamp.
Stephen Vogt popped up from behind home plate. Must have heard the call from Tim Timmons, and before Buxton could really do much of anything, Stephen Vogt was throwing the ball around the infield. He knew it was a strike. Confirmed by the umpire.
And you have said many times that umpire usually gives a verbal
doesn't
call
like
of the pitch, even though we may not hear it.
He doesn't like us. None of them like us.
Nah. It's all right.
Those guys guess up there.
We like them. Nunez popped out to first to lead off the game, and he hits one in the hole. Diving play by Simeon to throw to first, and it's a little offline, and Nunez has a hit. Nice play by Marcus Simeon.
Well, nice dive, and then for Marcus Simeon learning to do this, catch the ball but then pop up quickly, and he does a good job. And just the speed of Nunez, he was going to beat it out anyway. Good idea, and a good play by Alonso at first base coming off the bag.
Billy Burns is getting surrounded out there. And Nunez looks like he's a little banged up at first, but now he's okay. He just extended his hitting streak to 7 games. He's been a hot hitter for the Twins, so he's got a 1-out single, and that hits Dozier. So just like that, the Twins have 2 on and 1 out.
Breaking ball just kept running in, and Dozier no protection on the left side, at least nothing that shows, and got him in the bicep tricep area as he tucked the arm in. I wonder what's out in feeding frenzy in center field.
What is going on?
Yes.
Too many seeds, right? Sunflower seeds.
Well, that's supposedly like not just shells, but that's camera work there, man.
Here's Joe Mauer. 2 on, 1 out for Mauer. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Mauer grounded out to second in the first inning.
That's amazing.
Birds have now decided it's going to be Cocoa Crisp that we're going to bother. Hit high and foul. Seems like Joe Mauer's been around forever. He's 33 years old now. In his 13th year in the big leagues.
Signed one of those contracts that not many players get. It wasn't a hometown discount either. He's from the area, but
no, it wasn't.
Good for him.
Joe Mauer has 1,747 career hits, 5th most in Minnesota Twins history. Kirby Puckett, Rod Carew, Tony Oliva, and Kent Hrbek.
Kirby Puckett did his in 10 years, and then unfortunately glaucoma and shortened his career, but he got the 10 in. Talk about some great years for Kirby Puckett.
And a curveball is looped into left field, a base hit, and then they're going to wave. Nunez, no, they're not. They put the brakes on. Throw comes into Valencia, and the bases are loaded. So Mauer just hung in there on that breaking ball. Drove it to left field.
He's going for a seagull and figured might as well go where it's, well, it's in between them, and it scattered them. And Nunez got the good jump, and Gene Glenn decided to hold him up.
Thought they would send him.
I did too.
Opposite field hits. Yeah. No surprise there. Joe Mauer has always been able to cover whatever pitch is thrown wherever it is thrown. So here is Miguel Sano.
Holding up Nunez might have been because of this guy, because he is a strong young man. Questionable defense, but who cares the way he swings the bat.
First pitch is check swing.
Ah, there you go. They didn't get all of them. You know, they have a vacuum cleaner. Just vacuum. You know, get that portable vac out there.
You know what? I'm going to tell Clay Wood you said that.
Well, I mean, they use it. Or a blower, or a vacuum. Well, maybe the blower. But evidently a lot of seeds. They could have taken
right field.
Seeds out of the clubhouse.
And that one is drilled foul. So Sano has plenty of power. What also happens here, Ray, is he strikes out a lot. He has struck out 71 times in 178 at bats. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity for Surkamp.
And you'd probably rather have the strikeout now versus having put the ball in play, because the way he swings and as hard as he hits the ball, you don't necessarily want to take a chance for 2 unless it's hit right after somebody.
0-2. Fastball is high. Snow he's a big fella. Get out of his way. 6'4", 260, and he's only 23 years old. Vogt sets up inside. Close pitch. Well, Surkamp went in there. I mean, he got it where Vogt asked for it. Just didn't get the call.
And maybe a little up, who knows, but it's about belt high.
And there's a shot. Valencia, what a play. Out. Safe. And Sano comes up limping. He may have pulled a hamstring.
And Paul Muller is saying, what next?
Yep, ain't that the truth? Nunez scores, so the Twins are going to take the lead, but Sano hustling down the line. And take a look at it yourself.
Oh, he crushed it, and Valencia took a couple of steps to get rid of it. Man, that doesn't look good.
looked like right as he kind of jumped at the bag
yeah.
a little bit. And as you see, he runs pretty well for a guy who's 260 pounds. Picks up his 37th RBI.
I think that look, and he was asked, does it hurt? And he goes, yeah.
More than you know.
Wow.
So he is playing right field. He is not the DH.
Paul Molitor just said that look as he got out on the warning track saying, what do we have to deal with next?
That's Oswaldo Arcia. He is an outfielder, and so he's going to get loose a little bit.
Well, it's amazing that as hard as that ball was hit, that it wasn't a double play.
It was hit so hard it knocked Valencia off balance a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's what slowed it down a little bit. But he made a great play keeping it from going into left field. Of course, if it's in left field, the big man doesn't have to hustle down the line to avoid the double play.
Oswaldo Arcia now running for Miguel Sano.
So here's Plouffe. Runners at the corners. He swings and misses. So Dozier at third. Arcia, who is the pinch runner, and Arcia will stay in the game in right field. Well, there's been a couple of hits and a hit batter. Missed outside. A lot of pitches again for Surkamp. It's been one of the issues for him in really all of his starts. He's about to throw his 50th pitch.
And he only threw 8 in the first inning.
I think what you see too with Surkamp is you see the hitters a lot of foul ball.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of strikeouts tonight. The ratio's not bad. And that hit Plouffe. A breaking ball down and in, and Plouffe is limping to first. And that's the second hit by pitch for Eric Surkamp.
Did he swing? No.
Now batting, number 36, Robbie Grossman.
So now the bases are loaded, and it's Grossman.
What really hurts, he had 2 strikes on him, and 2 strikes on the hitter, and then not able to put him away. Fernando Rodriguez, first up.
First pitch to Grossman is hit hard. Simeon has it, flips to second, at a nice play to end the inning. So a run for the Twins when it's all said and done. So Twins lead 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the third.
at the ballpark. Log on to athletics.com/tickets and use coupon code DAD. That's DAD to receive $10 off field level tickets to see the A's take on their AL West rivals, the Los Angeles Angels. Discounted Father's Day tickets are subject to availability, so make plans right now to treat Dad to an afternoon of baseball Sunday, June the 19th.
Stephen Vogt leading it off. First pitch to Vogt is in for a strike. So there's Arcia, who stays in the game. Vogt, Valencia, and Davis here in the bottom of the third against Tyler Duffy.
Stephen Vogt was at the game last night. Every time he heard a whistle, he jumped up.
Yeah, he wanted to be ref. How'd you like to be an NBA ref? That would be pretty close to an impossible job.
Yeah. They still have 3?
They have 3, and really it's
probably not enough.
A little flare, and that'll work. Grossman grabs it, and Vogt has a single. A broken bat, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'll take it. Served it off the end of the bat, and ball running away from Stephen Vogt, and did serve it out to left field. And he'll take 100 of them. Stephen Vogt would like to get a new bat from Steve Vucinich, and apparently Vuce not afraid to order more for him.
So that is hit number 5 for the A's, and here's Valencia. The month of May, 351 with 7 home runs for Valencia. So he and Chris Davis have put on quite a show this month.
Nice to get 5 in 3 games, which is what Valencia did in St. Petersburg.
Misses badly, 2-0. Valencia walked in the first inning. Yeah, Valencia's weekend in St. Petersburg was one of the better power displays we've seen in quite a while, because none of them were cheap. Breaking ball on 2-0, and it's in first strike. I shouldn't say cheap, because remember I said a couple days ago there's no such thing as a cheap home run. They were all very well hit.
Impressive.
Well over 400 feet. One pitch missed outside with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
Just like Billy Burns said, I just wanted to find a way to get on base to bring up the hot hitter, and Odor said the same thing when the Rangers were in town before Desmond hit the 2-run home run. A's came back and won that with a grand slam walk-off.
Valencia drives on the right. That's hit well. Arcia's back. He's at the wall, and that baby's gone. Valencia goes the other way, and the A's grab the lead right back.
Noteworthy, 2 opposite field hits in the inning, accounting for 2 runs. Stephen Vogt, his line drive to left field, and this line drive by the right-handed hitting Valencia to right field. So a good shot. So we saw him do that against the lefty Dana Evelyn in St. Petersburg that weekend, but this against the righty, and left the ball up. Valencia opposite field.
Chris Davis got a fastball, swings and misses. So 8 home runs for Valencia, and that's how it breaks down. His second one to right, 1 to straightaway, and 5 to left. So he now has 8 home runs and 20 RBIs.
The difference of this pitch. Look at the location, how it's up in the zone, and Valencia not trying to pull it. I mean, that's belt high away. The difference of it being down around the knees versus up where it was. It's a ground ball or a line drive. Instead, it's a home run. Silo.
It's up there somewhere. Grossman has found it. So that's out number 1. Wow. Can a pop-up have backspin? I think it can. I think we just saw it.
Now batting first baseman. 17,
So that'll bring up Yonder
Alonso.
Alonso grounded out with the bases loaded in the first inning. A's have grabbed the lead back. It's 3-2. First pitch floats outside. Make a changeup at 83 miles an hour from Duffy.
You know, one thing with all the numbers, all the statistics about percentage of pitches thrown, you can look at what Duffy does tonight and Kurt Suzuki and how he's calling the game. He's really kind of going away from what the percentages have said about Duffy and how he uses the fastball and the curve, but he's using all of his pitches tonight. A lot of it's because Suzuki is calling the game.
62% fastballs, 35% curves, very few changeups. That's his pitches tonight. And that's a good sharp breaking ball there for his second strikeout. So 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd.
And both strikeouts on this same pitch. This one a little bit higher than one Chris got, but still got the same result, a swing and a miss.
So here's Simeon, who opened up the second inning with a base hit. Good curve there by Duffy. And that fastball at 92 miles an hour. So maybe not exactly where Kurt Suzuki wanted it. So Kurt, good veteran catcher, taking care of his 25-year-old right-hander, especially after he just gave up a home run.
If you're facing a team for the first time, you rely on your catcher, and not seeing very much shaking tonight by Duffy with Suzuki.
No, and they said a swing. Simeon can't believe it. So they check, and Mike Everett said you went around and the side is retired. But Danny Valencia, with his 8th home run of the year, he goes the other way, and the A's now have a 3-2 lead. Twins 2, top of the 4th inning. Good effort there. Danny Valencia with a home run. Give the A's the 3-2 lead. Miguel Sano left the game with a hamstring strain, is what we were being told. Hamstring strain.
You said it real fast.
Said it twice. That's it. Popped up. Alonso backpedaling. He's got it. So Young Ho Park goes after the first pitch.
Seems like they always say strain, regardless of what the injury. And by the way, it's torn. But we'll say strain.
Now batting, number 8.
So now Suzuki steps up. So Surkamp would love to get a shutdown inning. He would love to get a quick inning as well. Suzuki fouled out in the 2nd inning. Fouled out to the first baseman. First pitch in for a strike. So 54 pitches for Surkamp. The longest outing of the year for Surkamp. 5 2/3, and it was at New York on the 19th of April. And there's a hit. So 5th hit of the night for Minnesota. But in that start in New York, he threw 99 pitches in those 5 2/3 innings.
Now batting.
Shift playing Suzuki to left field, or to the left side, and fouled out to first in his first at bat, and this base hit to right field.
You know what else I didn't realize, Ray? This is the 6th start for Eric Surkamp. The first 5 have all been on the road.
Yeah.
Buxton swings and misses.
But the best outing he had, while not in the starting rotation, was the next to last, actually the last exhibition game when Dubront went down. Surkamp stepped in the 2nd inning, pitched great. It's probably the reason he got the call when he did.
That one hit in the air, right center, hanging up for Billy Burns. And Buxton is retired. 2 away here in the top of the 4th. And now to the top of the order, Eduardo Nunez.
Now batting, number 9.
So the 2nd and the 3rd inning got Surkamp a little bit, but he has a chance to kind of regroup if he can make quick work of Eduardo Nunez. Nunez a pop out, and then he singled and scored in the 3rd. He has 14 hits in his last 29 at bats. He's play Nunez pretty straight up. And he hits a liner right center field. Burns has to cut it off. He does. Suzuki will hustle for 3rd, and Nunez has a double, and it's 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. So Eduardo Nunez stays hot.
Once he got over the head of Jed Lowry, it's shot into right center, and once again Fernando Rodriguez gets up. Pitch away, went with it perfectly. It's like the Metrodome hit, although he did not play there. That ball just shot into right center. If he'd been the Metrodome on turf, it'd gone to the wall. Suzuki running hard in case he's sent, which he's not going to because Eddie Burns got to it quickly enough.
So another big 3rd out to get for Surkamp. It's Brian Dozier. Dozier rolls it on the ground to the shortstop Simeon, and that'll do it. So 2 hits and 2 runners stranded for the Twins. It's 3-2 A's as we go to the bottom of the 4th. inning. Here's our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms, and it's the American League strikeout leaders. Price and Verlander at the top. Then Sale, and Rich Hill is fourth. Not far behind. So Rich Hill just 2 strikeouts behind Chris Sale. That should tell you what kind of year Rich Hill is having. And we certainly hope that he's able to make his next start.
Yeah, he said he's a lot better. He's going to have a side start tomorrow. They had, of course, the off day on Thursday. They're determining whether to start him Friday or Saturday. Friday would be the normal turn. Saturday an extra day, and maybe depends on how the outing is tomorrow. Seems to think he's okay.
Well, Sonny Gray is going to throw a little bit today. He's going to throw again on Thursday. It sounds like he's going to actually throw here before the team leaves on its road trip. Sonny is eligible to come off the disabled list on Sunday. I don't know that that'll happen. Maybe, but if everything goes well, it sounds like maybe at some point next week we'll see Sonny Gray back. Well, it depends on how these guys feel after they throw. This was earlier today. Had some guys standing in while he was throwing. Not right there, but there was a few guys.
Took the screen down.
Yeah. See, he's kind of pointing to that area, that trapezius muscle. So 3-2 to Coughlin, leading things off here in the bottom of the 4th against Tyler Duffy.
Curveball. He's done that pretty consistently with a couple of strikes.
And that was a good one. So he got 4 strikeouts, including 3 in a row.
Rich on Sunday, and strikeouts again and again, and the breaking ball working. And the fastball, he actually had more strikeouts on fastballs than curveballs. I had him for 6 fastball strikeouts because hitters kept looking curveball and kept throwing a fastball. How about a sidearm to Nick? By the way, Cabrera didn't leave town without getting a hit against the A's in 3 games. But Rich Hill has been superb. 11 starts, 8 wins.
First pitch to Burns is a strike. Burns had a triple and an RBI in the 2nd inning. Hit a really just a fly ball down the right field line that Sano could not catch, and then it bounced past him. Tapped foul, and the count is 1-2.
This was Hill on Sunday, and it's the left groin, and watch him lift the leg as he follows through, and a concerned manager came out and decided to shut him down.
Dozier charges, quick throw to first, not in time. So Billy Burns with an infield hit.
Dozier made it as well as he could with the speed of Billy Burns, especially coming out of the box from the left side. And good to see Burns, especially hitting from the left side and really flying down the line. That's tremendous speed and running through the bag. Dozier had a hop go a little bit to his left, still handled it nicely, and really not even worthy of a review.
So hit number 7, 12th infield hit of the year for Burns. So Coco Chris steps up. First pitch is a sinker low. So would Coco let Burns steal a bag, get him into scoring position, get himself into scoring position?
Just might have to take a couple of pitches, and really it's comparable when Dwayne Murphy hit behind Ricky Henderson. And Ricky would always tell Murph, swing, don't worry about taking pitches for me. But usually, as we've said, the runners have the green light. Go when they feel they have a jump. And as a left-handed hitter, it's tough to see the guy take off. So you almost have to just take the pitches and hope that he does go within the time before he gets a couple of strikes.
So it is 2-0 now to Crisp with Lowry to follow. Not running, and the ball's bounced to Mauer. Nice play. Fires to second out there. No throw to first. Duffy was there, but Nunez decided not to throw it. So Joe Mauer with another nice play.
Now batting, second baseman, number 8.
Mauer had no chance for him to get back, but you're right. But Nunez, a second, said, I made one error. Double clutch. Is he there? Is he there? Maybe he's thinking about throwing back to Mauer, who was on the ground. In this case, with a second out, don't take a chance, and at least with Coco at first. Of course, he could steal second. Tried yesterday in the 8th inning, was thrown out.
First pitch to Lowry, curveball, rolled foul. Lowry has singled and he has grounded out. Lowry's single came in the first inning. He's got 1 in the second and 2 in the third. Valencia's home run. And now it's 0-2. Changeup at 79 miles an hour.
I think somebody borrowed the drums in right field. That's just not that same rhythm that we've heard in the past. But it was nice and quiet for a while, and you could actually hear people talking.
What? I can't hear you, Rick. What?
I mean, that's just not the same. I'm sorry.
So 1-2 to Lowry.
Call another pitch out. Might as well. 0-2. Try another one.
Crisp has 5 steals. He's been thrown out 4 times.
He pitched around on the curveball.
Another foul past Miguel Andretti. Angels and the Tigers. Lots of runs. Angels leading the Tigers 7-2 in the 4th inning. You know, Trout has homered in that game. Sanchez and Santiago were the starters. If that's the case, Anibal Sanchez got knocked around again. He has really struggled this year.
Pitched well enough against the A's in Detroit to pick up the game and the win, the Thursday series finale. Stephen Vogt crushed a home run very deep in right field off Sanchez, but that's about it.
The Angels won last night 5-1, so they're trying to make it 2 in a row over the Tigers. Everybody has won tonight in the AL West. That one pops away from Suzuki, but he hustles after it.
Well, Coco started, actually, when he started and then stopped. Once he stopped, he was done. Probably a good pitch to be able to run to get in the scoring position. Suzuki blocked it, but Coco had already committed to go back to first, and he knew it. Now he goes for sure with the 3-2.
So the crowd making some noise. Coco runs and strike 3 call, and Lowry threw his bat. He thought it was ball 4. He cannot believe it. So a couple of strikeouts for Tyler Duffy in the inning, and we're on to the 5th. 3-2 A's. California is brought to you by Clipper. 1 million Bay Area transit riders agree. Using Clipper is easier than using cash. Or you can take the Bay Bridge. Either way. 3-2, the A's lead the Twins. It is the top of the 5th inning. Eric Surkamp had a decent 4th inning.
Yes, 8 pitches, matter of fact. And Fernando was up a couple of times. He has sat down, and now Ryan Doe gets up. So maybe the whole idea is put somebody up in the bullpen every inning.
And make sure Surkamp can see them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So Mauer to lead it off. And he shoots one to left field. But right at Crisp, 1 out. Joe Mauer 1 for 3. And that'll bring up Waldo Arcia, who's hitting for the first time.
Last time Surkamp started for the Athletics was in Boston whenever the Red Sox were on the schedule following the day-night doubleheader against the Orioles, and they needed another starter. And the hit batter to Travis Shaw that never hit him, and ended up putting on base before Bradley Jr. hit a home run. But I don't know that anybody in that series against the Red Sox, from the starting standpoint, had any success. Just not a very good series against the Sox, and they have continued to play well.
1-0 to Arcia. Alonso backhands, long flip. Surkamp is there. Well executed, and it's the 2nd out here in the 5th inning.
That's good. The play was made because Jed Lowry was exactly behind Alonso as he ranged to his right. They had employed the shift, and now they're moving to the other side.
So Trevor Plouffe is the hitter. And also Alonso sliding over quite a ways to his right. Fastball for a strike to Plouffe, who has hit into a double play and been hit by a pitch. And a quick 0-2.
It's a Rich Hill curveball there, which is a good one. Backdoor froze Plouffe. Took the total part of the plate. I think if Tim Timmons is calling the curveball, might as well throw a few.
So 1-2 to Plouffe. breakdown tonight. A lot of fastballs, but also the cut fastball. Foul territory. And nobody's going to get it. One hops up into the seats. Yonder Alonso saying, you know, wasn't that much room in San Diego down the right field line.
Or any other place in the National League or American League where we've been.
But you have a lot of chances to make pretty nice plays in that area. Don't sit behind that guy. Base hit right field. So Plouffe kind of waited on it, and he has his first hit. And that's 7 hits for the Twins. Each team was 7 hits.
Number 36, Robbie Grossman.
Well, the fastball's up, the fastball's away, and base hit to right field. And Cap, I know we've talked about it. I know I've said it, but at times when the count changes, maybe the defensive alignment changes, because good hitters will try to do that.
It's going to be trouble. Coughlin racing in, and he'll play it out of hop, and it bounces by him. And they're going to wave Plouffe home. Here's the throw to the plate. It's offline, and Plouffe scores, and we're tied. Something about that area down there. We've seen a bad bounce now for each team.
Well, it's basically called overrunning the ball and taking the hop, and that last hit, well, it's not hit hard, but it's almost, you just shut it down and take the hop the way it's going to bounce. The fact that it was inside out swing, it's going to spin funny anyway. But watch as the ball just starts down and he goes in, tries to stop, and he went straight after it instead of stopping and trying to catch the ball on the rebound. It kicked, and with 2 outs, able to go. And it's going to happen, especially with the spin hitting the ball the way it did.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
Your attention, please.
The only 2 A's versus Giants games of 2016 at the Oakland Coliseum. Win. Cross Bay rivals square off on June 29th and 30th. A's look to continue their winning ways against the Giants, having captured 2 of the last 3 season series. These interleague showdowns are always some of the most popular games of the year, so get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets. 4 consecutive against the Giants, 2 in San Francisco, 2 here, and is it 4-game series total last year. The final 3 games at home were against the Giants.
We're seeing those 2-2 series right now with the Mariners and the Padres, and the Astros and the Diamondbacks. But they have to get on a plane. We do not.
That's right.
Eric Surkamp 4 2/3, 8 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. A tough break there. That really was not his fault. Now Dahl has to get Park. Great note there. Every inherited runner he has gotten, when he has come into games, he has stranded.
And these are big situations too, because trying to do it again with the go-ahead run at second.
And I think for any reliever outside of maybe your setup man and your closer, it's a very good stat to look at.
It's probably what they do look at, and you can go in to negotiate saying that my inherited runners were left on, and that's what every reliever wants to do, because they do not want to have it be somebody else's run.
This one high, pop up straight below us, but generally, I mean, a closer's almost always going to come in to start an inning, and a lot of times the 8th inning guy is going to come in to start an inning, so nobody's going to be on base. But it's those 6th and 7th inning guys, or in tonight's case, 5th inning.
And that's why Doolittle, what he did yesterday, coming in with runners at second and third with 2 outs, facing Joe Mauer in great defensive play by Alonso. That's a tough situation to come into.
A little bit outside, 3-2. Although Sean, as we just showed him, he looked a little chilly. I thought it was warmer than that tonight.
Yeah,
he looks. That's how we looked in Detroit. It was cold in Detroit.
Maybe it's colder on the field. Was he throwing a slider after all fastballs?
He did, and it was a dandy, and Park strikes out, but the Twins tie it on a single and a triple. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It's a 3-3 game. A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you locally by Energy Upgrade California. Energy tips, rebates, and financing options are available at energyupgradeca.org. Not a bad night to be out there. Or here.
That's right.
3-3 game, A's and Twins. A's looking for their 4th consecutive win. So a tight game, maybe not the cleanest played game we've seen in a while, but it is a 3-3 game, bottom of the 5th. Vogt fouls it straight back. Stephen Vogt has fouled out to third, singled and scored.
It's amazing what base hits and the spin and what they have a tendency to do to the outfielders, and twice tonight seeing similar play. 9 runs to score.
Swing and a miss. Duffy with 5 strikeouts. He had 1 strikeout in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Another hit for Vogt as he drills one up the middle. So he's 2 for 3, and that gets us to our greater coverage of baseball, and that's brought to you by T-Mobile, getting you set for the Sunday or the weekend series in Houston. It'll be Jesse Hahn and Doug Fister on Friday. On Saturday, Rich Hill, Colin McHugh, and on Sunday, Kendall Graveman and Lance McCullers. So, our first trip to Houston this year. And be the start of a long road trip. After the weekend in Houston, 2 in Milwaukee, and then 3 in Cincinnati, and then the A's come back home for a good homestand of 4 with the Rangers, 3 with the Angels. And there's another hit for Valencia, and it's headed for the gap. Stephen Vogt digging around third, washes, waving him home, and Vogt will score. 4-3 A's.
But I would assume tomorrow Danny Valencia will be wearing the same socks. He's having a great night. The A's give up the lead, and the hanging breaking ball from the right-hander, and the gap in left center. And he's thrown a lot of curveballs tonight. Has Duffy, and this one a hanger. And Valencia a home run to right field on a fastball. This curveball hit solidly into left center field. And don't go to sleep on the speed of Stephen Vogt. Blow a whistle, man. That's, you know, there's such a thing as running fast and running hard. I think we just saw hard.
He made it. He made it.
Making it and running just hard enough and fast enough to get there.
So Valencia, a hot hitter again. A walk, a homer, and a double tonight. Davis tonight has singled, and he has hit a fly ball in the left field.
Surkamp was hoping to get through 5 innings. He had 2 outs in the 5th with a lead and could not stay in long enough, because if he'd gotten the final out, he would have had the lead, and this man owned by the Athletics. But Stevenson, you know, it is a long way from first to home,
and you're not easing into it either.
No. And the good thing for Vogt is the fact that there's nobody out and he gets to rest. And if he could call for oxygen, he would. But
Davis waves at that breaking ball.
The hanger, and hit it perfectly. Stephen Vogt just, he knows he has to score. It's like running a race and you cross the finish line and have a couple of bottles of water.
So 1 out. Here's Alonso. A's would love to get Valencia home. Hit hard, but foul. That is Buddy Boucher. It's the way I was told it's pronounced. Boucher.
Looked like Brochus there for a minute.
Buddy Boucher. Outside, and it's 1-1 to Alonso, who has grounded out and struck out. little bit outside. Duffy thought it was a strike.
Tim Timmons has called so many of them tonight. Surprised he didn't call that one. As Jed Lowry was called out on strikes his last at bat, last inning, and put the camera on Mr. Timmons. He said, "That's enough," because Jed was arguing with him a little bit.
Missed again. 3-1. The A's have had plenty of base runners tonight. They have 9 hits. Alonso broke his bat. Went after a 3-1 breaking ball. He's retired. So Valencia to third now with 2 out.
How many curveballs have been thrown tonight by Duffy, or better yet, how many have been called by Kurt Suzuki? 3-1 and 3-2. Really a lot of similarities, although Duffy is right-handed, but Rich Hill is very comfortable throwing the breaking ball, the curveball, in the 3-1, 3-2 counts.
See if Simeon can come up with a 2-out hit. Got a breaking ball and hung a little bit. Simeon fouled it at the plate. Simeon a single and a strikeout. So 2 for 5 in the series. That's a good pitch right on the corner. 0-2. So closing in on 100 pitches for Tyler Duffy. That is why there is action in the bullpen. Another breaking ball, and Suzuki with that pretty good form, blocking.
And you're right, that gives the pitcher the confidence to throw the curveball. Suzuki very adept at blocking balls, doing the job, and really helps a pitcher.
So really there has not been an easy inning for Tyler Duffy. Another foul ball.
This is what you call pitching backwards. Fastball in the 1-2 count, curveball in a 3-1 count. Although a curveball here on a 1-2 count.
A good take by Simeon. A lot of time in the stretch in this game for Duffy. And another breaking ball. Simeon just got a piece of it.
Well, that's a hanger too. A good hittable curveball. 2 strikes though, just a little bit of protecting. See the wrap by Duffy and the curveball, and Suzuki. So it's shin guards, although Suzuki down on one knee, on the left knee, with the runner at third base and 2 strikes on the hitter.
Blocks it again. 3-2. Coughlin to follow, maybe.
And he's throwing the curveball on 3-2 pretty consistently tonight. All strikeouts coming on the curveball. And he's got to get another one.
And there it is, and it's belted toward left center, and that's going to get down for a hit, and that's going to go near the wall, and Simeon has an RBI double, and it's 5-3. He hung it up there, and Simeon smacked it into the gap.
And what if you have a catcher who is blocking the balls in the dirt, why you would think about trying to throw for a strike, and maybe he didn't, just throw a lot of them, and that's a hanger just like the one Valencia got with a double to left center. And Marcus Simeon does the same. A complete gap in left center, no chance for anybody to get it. And big 2-out hit on a 3-2 curveball by Marcus Simeon.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
Baseball movie fireworks presented by Ray Morgan Company. After the game against the Angels, famous fireworks show will be set to music from classic baseball movies, including The Natural, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, and more. No better way to kick off summer than with A's Baseball and Fireworks. So visit athletics.com/fireworks today, June 17th, Friday night. It's weekend of Father's Day.
For Tyler Duffy, 4 2/3, 10 hits, 5 runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. And he could not find an easy inning. So the Twins to the bullpen. This is Buddy Boucher. Just his second appearance. One of 3 lefties in the bullpen. Twins got a bunch of relievers right now because they put Phil Hughes in the bullpen.
A good friend Fernando Abad is pitching well for them.
Good numbers.
Another lefty.
Not close. And the count 1-1 to the pinch hitter Jake Smolinski. He is hitting for Coghlan. So Smolinski will stay in the game and play right field. Taps that one back to Boucher. Flips to first, side, retired. But a couple of big hits in the inning. Started with Danny Valencia, his RBI double, and then Simeon with an RBI double of his own. So the A's score twice and take a 5-3 lead. I believe back.
Suzuki.
Back and forth game. It's 5-3. And Jake Smolinski stays in the game in right field after pinch hitting for Coghlan. And Ryan Dull stays out on the mound. So Dull will face Suzuki, Buxton, and Nunez, top of the 6th inning. First pitch is driven towards center. Burns is there, and he's got it. So a hard hit ball by Suzuki, but it ends up in the glove of Burns for the first out.
It's amazing what Ryan Dull has done for the Athletics and what he did last September. Probably one of the best from Bob Melvin's standpoint. Kurt Young and making the ball club coming out of the bullpen, especially with his success rate with runners in scoring position.
Buxton takes a fastball that was close but a little low. Buxton has struck out and hit a fly ball to center field. Another fastball. That one is a strike. So we're ways away from a final. But right now Ryan Dull is the pitcher of record.
Yes, he is.
Could get a win.
Yep.
There's a liner down the left field line, and Buxton can absolutely fly. So he easily makes it to second base with a 1-out double.
Hanging slider. It's left it up in the eyes, and it's amazing how well hitters hit hanging and mistakes. And ball up, and he can run, as you said, and long strides. He can take the wide turn into the outfield. It wouldn't matter.
Now batting, number 9, Eduardo Nunez.
Yeah, he could take the back streets, and you and I could take the freeway. He would still get there before us. Zepchinski starts to throw as Eduardo Nunez steps up. Nunez has singled and doubled. He's 2 for 3 with a run scored. Swinging a hot bat. Be careful with this guy. Dozier to follow. Angels still leading the Tigers. It's 9-4 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Swing and a miss. Right. Nunez was trying to tie up the game. He does have 5 home runs.
A chance to waste a pitch. Yeah. A hard slider went inside with a fastball, but the slider needs to get on top and drive the ball down.
Pretty good breaking ball there. And Nunez did a nice job of fighting it off.
Yeah.
Almost looked like he kind of shortened up,
yeah.
and maybe he's feeling like he didn't have to shorten up quite that much.
But just the fact that he was shortening up with 2 strikes is smart hitting. As we have noted, probably a few more guys would be better off by doing it instead of swinging hard on 3 or with 2 strikes. That would indicate a fastball up. It's kind of hard to go through a series of signs of runner second, and the last sign is pointing up, which you're not going to call for a curveball or a slider up. So it's a fastball, but that's about the only way you can give the sign.
And now it's 2-2. The Twins scored 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 5th. They have had base runners in every inning except the 1st. Lowry getting back, and Lowry's got it. 2 outs, and here's Dozier.
Now batting,
Dozier is
2,
0 for 2, a
Ryan
strikeout and a
Dozier.
ground out, and he was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. Dozier, good swing there. Dozier just not having a great year. Last year, 28 home runs and 77 RBIs.
And he had some big home runs.
Yeah.
And for Paul Molitor, the 83 wins you mentioned, and his production, especially some of the huge home runs, walk-offs, and I mean just some magical big hits for the Twins.
He had 39 doubles, 4 triples, and 28 home runs.
And an all-star.
I mean, if my math serves me correctly, that's 71 extra base hits. That's a lot. 1 and 2. Just another guy having a down year for the Twins.
The high fastball, and a lot of hits to the right side, and just has that tendency to open up a little bit, which struggle. You try to gear it up a little bit sooner and start your swing a little sooner.
And this one's popped up right over our head into the value deck right above us. There's a few people up there. Friday night, when it is a Friday night and the A's are home.
What do you do? Get his ball and go home?
He's out left.
He said, I got my foul ball. I'm out of here.
It's a good game, 5-3.
Still think every time a ball goes to the upper deck above us, Glenn Hubbard always wanted to do that. That's all he said I ever wanted to do is foul the ball straight back to go to the upper deck.
Not easy to do.
Yeah, no, and every time it happens, I think of Glenn Hubbard many years ago, and he just couldn't do it.
This one is playable. Alonso near the mound. He's got it, and Dull gets out of the jam. A runner stranded. Bottom of the 6th inning. Now one of those. 5-3 A's lead.
Oh, no, King.
Highlights, Ray. That's Ron Washington. Played for the Twins from 1981 to 1986. Played in 454 games with the Twins. Check it out. Look at Wash.
Take a look at the hair.
Wash also played with the Dodgers, the Orioles, and the Indians, but most of his big league time was spent with the Minnesota Twins. Played a little outfield, too. Good highlights.
And you know, his starting position was a catcher. And he said, I was too small.
Time to get out of there.
But Wash, of course, you saw the base hit that he got driving in his good friend, the late Kirby Puckett. And, of course, when Puck passed away, they had a big memorial service for him back at the Metrodome. And Wash was there on hand for that sad moment. Great Kirby Puckett. Touch them all, Kirby. You'll never hit a bigger home run. Oh, you did it, too. Game 6 in '91. They jump on my back. I'll carry to Game 7, and Jack Morris took care of the rest.
Oh, 2 pitch to Burns. He held up. So Buddy Boucher is the pitcher. Has tripled and singled, and he strikes out this time. Burns does not strike out a lot. That's just the 21st time this year he has struck out. So 1 out here in the 6th.
Well, the hanging breaking ball just could not make contact. Stayed back, waited, and pulled the string, and just no contact for Billy Burns.
So here's Coco. Crisp is grounded out, struck out, and he reached on a fielder's choice, and he takes a first pitch that's a bit high. Everything's final now in the American League except that game going on down in Anaheim. National League is all done as well. The Mariners beat the Padres today. It's Michael Tonkin, the big tall right-hander, loosening up. Mariners 16, the Padres 4 in Seattle.
See the final pitcher?
16-4. I believe it was a position player, was it not?
Had a 69-mile-an-hour knuckleball. Someone said he's throwing 97 with a fastball, so that's quite a difference between the pitches.
Coco drives one toward right. Arcia on the move, and he's got it for out number 2. Now, the Mariners just went crazy. They hit 5 home runs. Seth Smith hit a couple. Seager hit one. Lynn.
Now batting second baseman, number 8.
And James Shields, who I'm starting to hear his name in trade rumors, which is not a surprise. He gave up 10 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings. So the Mariners get their 30th win. Mariners are now 30-21. Now, as we said, that's one of those 2-2 series going on. So those first 2 games were played in Seattle. Both teams will now fly to San Diego, and they will continue that series at Petco Wednesday and Thursday.
Natural rivalry.
Well, I told you they don't like each other. Right?
Houston, Arizona.
I mean, you think about the history going back over the years between the Mariners and the Padres.
How far are you going back?
Just, you know, as far back as you can.
Is that before they moved to Petco when they were qualcomm?
Two teams that clearly do not like each other. What a rivalry it's been over the years. Mariners and the Pods. 1-2 the count to Lowry. Lowry has singled, grounded out, and struck out. Fastball is inside. Padres are really struggling this year. They have now lost 8 out of their last 9, and they're 13 games under 500. So full count to Lowry. Zinchenski still standing out in the A's bullpen. He is loose.
Curveball.
And a good one. And Lowry strikes out for the 2nd time. So Boucher has a 3-up, 3-down 6th inning, and we're moving to the 7th. 5-3 A's lead. Right choice. Remember this? The truck around the bases. Game 2 of the Division Series, A's Twins 2006. Mark Kotze says, I gotta go. My shirt's coming out. I'm leaking oil. I got a flat tire, but I'm going to score. And he did. awesome. A's won the game 5-2. A couple days later, they came home and finished off the Twins in that best-of-5 series. He remembers it.
Yes, he does. And he said when he saw Torrey Hunter dive for the ball and miss it, and on the artificial surface at the Metrodome with nobody to back up, he put it in a high horse. Saw Ron Washington coaching third then in 2006. He said, I was going to go, and Wash just happened to be sending me, and I was going to go anyway.
Joe Mauer and Osvaldo Arcia. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Zabzinski, appearance number 25. Valencia has it. Valencia fires it across, 1 out.
I think we had a pretty good idea this was going to be a bullpen game. Is Fernando Rodriguez up again for the 3rd time this time, though? Maybe doing it for a reason. Zabzinski following Ryan Dahl. Zabzinski has done a tremendous job for the A's. One of the new additions to the bullpen.
There is Hughes. Here's Arcia. Good breaking ball. 0-1 the count. You know, seeing that highlight, that was from 2006, and really there's a stretch where the A's and the Twins had a lot of success. Of course, the A's had the 4 straight trips to the postseason, and then went back again in 2006. But it was a great time for the Twins. From 2002 to 2010, they had a 9-year period where they went to the postseason 6 times, but they couldn't get to the World Series. They always came up short.
But if you want to go back a little bit further, 87 they won. The Twins won the World Series. Then 88, 89, 90, A's went to the World Series. 91 the Twins won. 92, 93 the A's.
Great games.
Yeah, I mean they were.
And they were in the same division.
Exactly. Twins and the A's going through really from 87 to 93.
Yeah,
one of
history.
The other. Yeah.
Tom Kelly years, then Ron Gardenhire.
Eddie Guardado, who's the bullpen coach for the Twins, of course, very prominent during those years with Tom Kelly, is Everyday Eddie, they called him.
Zabzinski strikes out Arcia.
I said, Eddie, how many games consecutively did you pitch? It's this breaking ball outside and big swing. Eddie said 9 in a row.
24.
Said I gave one. That's why I called him Everyday Eddie. But 9 games in succession.
I bet they were in the pennant race too.
And he said I was up for the 10th. There's Eddie Guardado, and Stockton native, of course, lives down in Southern California now, and in the bullpen for Paul Molitor. You get a nickname Everyday Eddie. Pitched 9 consecutive games.
Got to live up to that.
That's right, and he was happy to do it. I said, Eddie, how are things today? And he said, a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's a good man. Good man. He'd always have his family, friends, everybody when he was pitching come down from Stockton, and between here and Dallas Bray to have a lot of people.
It's one of the good names in Twins history, Eddie Guardado.
Yep.
One and 1 the count to Trevor Plouffe. Pitch 1 and 2. The Twins were the Washington Senators for 60 years, and then in 1961 they moved to Minneapolis. Became the Twins.
And if you've ever been to the Mall of America, that's where the stadium was.
That's right.
Matter of fact, home plate is still there in the middle of Mall of America from the old Met.
Metropolitan Stadium.
Yep. The Vikings played there. The Twins played.
Two and 2 the count. Plouffe is 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a single. got him swinging. Nice inning by Mark Zipchinski. Couple of strikeouts, and we have reached the 7th inning stretch here at the Coliseum. The A's leading 5-3.
CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
I think A's fans enjoying the 7th inning stretch, don't we all? 5-3 A's lead. Trying to build a little winning streak here.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. Right now they're 6 games under 500. June 1st is tomorrow, so you put together a little win streak and then you have a good month of June.
That's right.
Maybe get to the All-Star break and you're around 500. Just like I say, make August and September interesting if you can.
Make them meaningful. That's right. Meaningful game, something the A's definitely don't have last year. Trying to avoid losing 100, which they were able to do, but that's your scorebook. That's Stephen Vogt has scored 2 runs in front of Danny Valencia's home run and double.
So Stephen Vogt called out on strides. That's the first out here in the 7th. Well, tune in to NBC Sports Network tomorrow as the Sharks and the Penguins play Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. with a 2-hour pregame show. And Game 2 starts at 5 p.m. When it's over, head over to CSN California after the game for Sharks Playoff Central. Don't miss a moment of this Sharks Stanley Cup journey. So the Penguins won 3-2 last night, so they lead the series 1 game to none. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Now pitching for the Twins.
Ace Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. It's roundup time. Take the beach train to Santa Cruz or the Redwood Forest train to Bear Mountain. So 5-3 A's lead. It is the bottom of the 7th, and the Twins bring in the right-hander Michael Tonkin.
Tall with a good sinking fastball, low 90s for the right-hander. 22nd game. Been busy. 3+ earned run average.
And the first pitch from Tonkin in first strike. Facing Danny Valencia, who has had a big night. He walked in the first, hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd, doubled in a run, and then scored in the 5th. So 3 RBIs tonight.
Home run to right field on a fastball that was left up. 3-1. He went deep to right field. That was against Duffy, the starter.
Now batting is
Tonkin misses, so the count 2-1. So maybe Danny Valencia starting to heat up. Well, you know, not maybe, he is. Batting average at .339. That one on the outside corner, 2-2.
So Valencia's home run on a fastball away from him. 9 strikeouts for the Athletics against actually the pitchers for the Twins, but that last strikeout that sure struck out both is the only one with a fastball. 8 on the curveball. That's all Suzuki calling curveballs, and the pitchers, of course, with the confidence to throw the curveball, and Suzuki keeps putting down the 2 fingers, and once tonight, regardless of the pitchers. Been a good pitch. It's a fastball here.
And it's belted to left, down the line, plenty of distance, but foul.
Think he was looking fastball?
I think he was, and it sounded like he was looking fastball because that was loud.
Foot down, fastball, just too quick. And you look at a low mid-90s fastball, and second deck, put the glove out. Put the hand out.
Or your hat, yeah.
Yeah, didn't have his glove up that high.
And then he drives one toward right field. Arcia on the move, and he'll get there and make the catch. That's a pretty good at bat by Danny Valencia, though. So he lines out. So May home run leaders in Major League Baseball. Davis is first. Adam Duvall from the Reds. We'll see him next weekend. Ortiz with 9. Trumbo with 9.
Ortiz with 14 on the season. Huh. He's retiring, though.
He's done. Remember when he got off to that slow start? That was like 4 years ago, wasn't it? And all of a sudden, the Boston folks thought maybe it was time.
Poppy didn't think so.
No. The Rangers beat the Indians 7-3 in Cleveland. Colby Lewis is now 5-0. So the Rangers are playing extremely well. They have won 9 out of their last 11 and 4 in a row. So that is the updated West. Both the Rangers and the Mariners win. Astros won. I'll tell you what happened in that game in a little bit. And what you don't like to see is the Rangers and the Mariners starting to separate a little bit. Doesn't mean that there's not plenty of time. Two pitch, not close, 3-2. The Rangers, with that win today, finished the month of May with 17 wins. You start getting over 15 wins in a month, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That one rolled foul. Giants have had a big month of May. I think today was their 21st win in the month of May. That's very hard to do. Tonkin and Davis having a pretty good battle. And he misses outside, so 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but not close, and Davis walks.
Now batting first baseman, number 17, Yonder Alonso.
So here's Yonder Alonso. A couple of groundouts and a strikeout.
Straight up defense. No shift.
Davis runs. Throw to second base is late. Chris Davis got a good jump, a good speed, and he's got a stolen base. And that's his first of the year.
Well, he got the great jump and the big leg kick by Tonkin, and Kurt Suzuki, quick release, but absolutely zero chance. Even the throws on the bag, he has no chance.
Well, you watch Davis get a good jump and show pretty good speed. You're
That's right.
surprised he doesn't steal more. A little bit outside, and the count 1-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. That game is getting a little weird down in Anaheim. The Angels had a 9-4 lead, but Ian Kinsler just hit a grand slam, and now it's 9-8.
Wow.
And it's the 7th inning, so there's plenty of time left. The Angels thought they were going to be in for one of those games, you know, where you can take your starter, take your position. Big Trout out, Pujols, give him a couple innings off.
One swing of the bat.
Not anymore. Swing by Alonso. Tonkin ahead of Alonso, and that one in the dirt. For the Twins in the top of the 8th, they'll have Grossman, Park, and Suzuki, 6, 7, and 8 in their order. Fastball outside, 96 miles an hour.
I don't know if it's so much the ball running away from the left-hander or just leaving it out there. Tonkin throwing very hard against the right-hander. Davis threw it outside off the plate.
Missed again, and he walked in. So back-to-back walks with 2 outs.
Now batting shortstop.
So another meeting for Kurt Suzuki, trying to work his young right-hander through this. All part of the life of a catcher.
Yeah. It's almost like with the 3-2 pitch to Alonso, a curveball. If you get him, fine. If not, don't worry about it. So Marcus Semien trying to get one of the fastballs or another hanging curveball like he did in his last at bat. Get a ball in the gap.
Fastball for a strike. I would guess there's times when the catcher goes out there and there's certain things he would really like to say, but he probably says the exact opposite.
That's why you have to know your personnel. For a catcher to know all the personalities of the 12 pitchers you're dealing with. Some
You mean none are the same?
I'd say it's a pretty good chance. There are some that you have to speak softly.
Yeah.
And others you scream and don't have to worry about any repercussions. Got to know all of them. They're all sitting together.
0-2 pitch. Here it is. Close, but outside. Davis at second, Alonso at first. Foul to the screen, so talking plenty of velocity there. There's a good young Twins fan.
If you knew
he's looking a little tired though.
If you knew who Rod Carew and Tony Oliva and Harmon Killebrew, all those guys, you'd really be a fan, but maybe a little bit too young. More of the current Twins.
And he had that I gotta go to school tomorrow look.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little tired. The late great Harmon Killebrew.
One of the nicest gentlemen in the world, man. The killer.
Former A's announcer.
Yes, he was. But he wore the Twins uniform proudly.
High and foul toward the seats and into the seats. This makes you wonder, well, shouldn't he have been a Twins announcer?
That's a good point. Actually ended up back there after he was here, but I don't know how much work he did on TV or radio. It's always those nice guys that hit over 500 home runs too.
2-2 pitch, and that one does catch the corner. Strike 3 call. So a couple of walks, they're both stranded, and we're headed to the 8th inning here at the Coliseum. Still 5-3 A's. Eighth inning, and it's Fernando Rodriguez coming in. And he's facing Robbie Grossman, leading things off. 1-0 with a good 2.03 ERA for Rodriguez, having a nice season for the A's. Grossman, Park, and Suzuki. Grossman has a double and a triple. Doubled and scored in the second, tripled in a run in the fifth. He hits that one hard, but it's just foul. big Trevor May loosening up out of the Twins bullpen. A's bullpen is quiet.
Wouldn't it be appropriate for May to get in the month of May?
That's right. Better hurry up.
Especially the final day of the month of May.
It's getting late. June is around the corner.
Now Fernando's got the good fastball, of course, curve and a cutter. But right now, I don't think he wants to go to 3-2 where he would throw the fastball, see what he decides to do on the 2-2. We have a good fastball, and especially if you can elevate it, makes it a very, very difficult pitch for a hitter.
So fastball there. Grossman was looking for it, but just a little tardy.
These guys might have been teammates in Houston.
Good call. Yeah,
it was
maybe in the minor leagues.
Yeah, Fernando coming over from Houston, and Grossman, of course, playing for them. Maybe Grossman said, "I don't remember him throwing that hard."
Curveball, and he lines one fair down the right field line.
Yep.
Smolinski picks it up.
He remembered the curveball and tried to throw it 2 strikes.
Yeah, he just went down and got that breaking ball.
And this is much slower than his mid-90s fastball, and that's why, with a couple of strikes, we talked about hitters who shorten up a little bit. Grossman that time able to get out in front and pull the curveball.
Young-Ho Park.
So it was 3rd to 9th for Grossman. All 3 to right field.
So here's Park. Park doubled in a run in the 2nd. He has also popped out and struck out. And that one misses off the plate outside. Well, the Twins trying to make it interesting.
Yesterday, Axford had the 7th. Doolittle actually came in with 2 outs on the 7th, got the 3rd out, and then pitched the 8th. Matz in the 9th, and just a 1-run game. This at least has 2 runs.
Pretty well hit right center, but it's going to hang up for Burns, and Burns makes the catch. Grossman will tag. He'll go to 3rd. So 1 out. And the hitter will be Suzuki. So Park hit that ball fairly well, but
number 8, Kurt Suzuki.
The fastball that was a little bit inside, I think that's at least what kept it in the park. Inside out swing. Even though the count was 1-0, he still swung at it.
so the A's will give up the run on a ground ball. Pitch to Suzuki, and that's a base hit left center field. So Kurt Suzuki does not wait around. First pitch he saw, fastball down around the knees, and now it's 5-4.
And just 1 out.
Now batting.
Exactly right. Fernando might have been thinking, trying to get the strikeout, but bottom line, fastball that Suzuki, he just wanted to put the ball in play, and he was able to do it.
Looks like Axford is getting up. First pitch to Buxton, pulls the bat back, no swing. Axford just now starting to throw, but as you can tell, getting ready quickly. Buxton doubled in the 6th. He was stranded. Valencia cheats in onto the grass. Swing and a miss. Buxton pulled off that one.
That's a much harder curveball than the one he threw to Grossman that he hit the double. Is a slower curveball. This one harder, and that's ideally what you want to do. As hitters will get a fastball and they see the breaking pitch. If it's thrown hard, they cannot adjust the swing quickly enough.
High fastball, and Buxton can't catch up to that one. 0-2, make it 1-2.
Curveball down, fastball up. Swing there, almost like he was looking curveball again.
Pitch is in the dirt. The Astros won tonight. They beat the Diamondbacks in Arizona. McCullers over Corbin. So the Astros have now won 7 out of their last 8. Looks like the A's, they're trying to get back to 500.
The D-backs are struggling.
Yeah, they are. Pop foul, jammed. The fastball.
The difference there, the location of fastball that time was down and he fouled it. Fastball that was up. He swung through the second strike. That's why Sean Doolittle is so good. If he can elevate his fastball the way he does pretty consistently, hitters just make it difficult to catch up to it.
Long run. Smolinski cannot quite get it. Drops foul. So everybody was over there. Lowry, Alonso, Smolinski. Nobody could get it.
Well, Smolinski diving even though the ball was well out in front of him, but in foul territory, might as well give it a chance. Never know.
Eduardo Nunez is the on-deck hitter. One's bounce, just foul past Gene Glenn, third base coach for the Twins. Looks like Axford's ready. Defense is straight up for the A's.
That is perfectly straight up, isn't it?
It is.
Draw a picture.
You keep that. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Buxton chased a pitch that looked like it may have been a ball.
Not enough pitches inside, and then Fernando with a good fastball away and just kept running, and that's a protecting swing, knowing that the pitch is close enough off the plate as that shot shows. However, from the hitter standpoint, you panic just trying to make contact. Could not do it. Turns out to be a great pitch by Rodriguez.
So here's Nunez.
The outfield playing no doubles, and that's a good idea. Suzuki at first, and
Alonso hustling over, and it'll bounce in the first row right behind the Twins dugout. I don't know what's going on.
He threw his cap out on the field.
He got it back, I think.
I hope so. At least he didn't throw the baseball. He said, "Heck with the cap."
There's an usherette down there, and she is laying down the law, man. Another foul ball, and the count is 0-2. It was a Giants hat. There's a lot going on down there.
Yeah.
Guys want to think about getting in a brawl, arguing with each other, pointing at each other. Look out. 1-2 now to Nunez. Did he get that Giants hat back? I don't know if he got it back. Looked kind of old and beat up anyway. Out. side to Nunez. Nunez has a single and a double. He's 15 for his last 31, so he's a dangerous hitter right now.
Well, there's a reason you play deep in the outfield, especially with 2 outs, and runner at first with a hot hitter, and that's to keep a ball from getting into the gap. You see how deep the outfielders all around are playing. Straight up, but deep.
Suzuki with his lead. 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Chased a pitch in the dirt. So Rodriguez, a couple of big strikeouts. The Twins get 1 as we go to bottom of the 8th. It's now 5-4.
Is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 4-11-1 for the Twins, 5-10-0 for the Athletics. Both the starters, Duffy and Surkamp, did not get through the 5th inning. Danny Valencia, he's a hot hitter right now. And a couple of hits and 3 RBIs, including a home run. Billy Burns, a couple of hits. So the A's 3 outs away from their 4th consecutive win. Twins bring in another pitcher, Trevor May. Pitcher number 4 from Minnesota. 0-2 with an ERA over 5 for Trevor May.
Speaking of starters, he was a starter and so possesses all the 4 pitches and a pretty good fastball that he likes to throw, mid-90s, but has moved on. Actually, Buck Showalter and the Orioles would take a lot of starting pitchers and put them in the bullpen.
Fastball is high. Trevor Mays, big kid. Fernando Abad.
20 pounds lighter, Fernando Abad.
That's good. He's having a good year too.
Yes, he is.
Pitch. There's that high fastball, and he did not go. Trevor May, 6'5", 245 pounds. Throwing hard. He had 16 starts last year.
Nothing but fastballs in the 4 pitches to Smolinski. I guess they figured Jake's going to pull a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. They're shifting him to left.
Good heater again.
You know, if I were a pitcher throwing 96, I'd say, how can you even think about shifting and expecting him to pull my heater? Turn around and say, get back over in your normal position, man. Come on. There they are, though. They take that outside fastball at 96 and pull it.
And and he lines one just foul.
Garcia thought it was fair. He picked it up, ready to throw it back in.
Burns to follow, and then Crisp here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Day game tomorrow to wrap up this homestand. Manaya and Dean. That's Pat Dean. Strike 3 called at the knees. So that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Hey, we got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Know it all with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30, and it's on CSN Bay Area. Complete analysis of the NBA Finals matchup between the Cavs and the Warriors. Also hear from LeBron James as he gets set to face the Warriors for the 2nd year in a row. And the Sharks will try to even up that series at a game apiece. Rent-free Dave Feldman will host. So there's a lot going on in the Bay Area.
John Axford looks like he's going to be asked to try to at least start the 9th and maybe close it. Fernando Rodriguez getting a couple of big strikeouts, especially the last one.
Speaking of strikeouts, the A's hitters have struck out 11 times tonight. Hasn't kept them from scoring 5 runs, because they also have 10 hits. Good curveball there from Trevor May. Down in Anaheim, the game has just gotten even more wild. Remember, the Tigers were down 9-4. Kinsler hit a grand slam in the top of the 7th to make it 9-8. Victor Martinez just hit a solo home run in the top of the 8th, and that game is now tied 9-9. In fact, the Tigers have the go-ahead run at second base in that game. Just when you think it's over, the Tigers start swinging the big bats.
And as we said when they left Oakland, let them swing down there, especially Miguel Cabrera. You know, Victor Martinez is going to hit, as he's proven tonight. Kinsler.
And there's the walk. So a little bit more on the matchup tomorrow. Pat Dean is a left-hander, making just his 3rd start. Manaya will make his 7th start, trying to whittle that ERA down. And again, that'll be a 12:30, 12:35 first pitch, and you can see it on the MLB Network tomorrow. You can also hear it on 95.7 The Game with Ken, Vince, and Ray.
Now, we're not televising, obviously, but for Sean Manaya, I said, "What is the song when you walk out?" And he said, "I don't know."
Really?
Yeah, he
So
said.
he
said, "Just pick one for me. Pick one for me." I said, "Is it Samoan related?" He said, "No, but that would be nice, wouldn't it?" I said, "Well, you can pick your own. You know, whatever you want to do." But he said, "I have no idea." So I guess they just decided to pick one for him. So if it's the same one tomorrow, I hope he at least calls. I mean, he's you know, he's established.
Sure. He's a big leaguer.
Yeah, in the big leagues.
Whatever gets you going before your start, right?
That's right.
I could see you listening to a little Neil Diamond to get you ready for your start.
Hey, we didn't even dream about walkout.
No walk-up song.
Yeah. You know, David down here, and you know, Chuck Morgan down in Texas, and he says, you know, guys go 0 for 1. They call up "Change My Song."
Change my song.
You know, go 0 for the day. I need to do song.
That's the problem. Right?
Yeah, that's it. You know, the song is the big thing he's going to let you hit, man. I mean, sometimes give pitcher credit.
0-1 to Glad Coco was taken all the way.
Well, taken, maybe thinking Burns is going to try to steal, and he should. Why not? I mean, take the chance. And I mean, this is the Ricky run that Beacon created here. And right-hander, he throws well, but get a good jump and try to get in a scoring position. easier to score from second.
Yeah, I mean this seems like the spot where he's got to try to go.
And even if there's a pitch out, I mean, you still go. I mean, you're able to read him. He just drew a throw so he could have an idea of actually how he does throw to first and to the plate. It's not a sign. That's a throw over.
Wow. Swing and a miss.
5-3-2. That was interesting. Usually that's a throw over. That's not a normal sign, especially nobody on base. But 2 is a curveball, and Suzuki has called a lot of those tonight.
Bird's not running, and the ball is looped foul just past the tarp. Rolls in between the tarp and the sidewall, and a fan is now in between the tarp and the sidewall. What is going on tonight, Ray?
Well, Seagull's got all their seeds. So
Seagulls are gone.
Yeah, they're gone. And
how did that guy get that ball, by the way? He had a glove, a beer, but he got the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did
Check
that.
it out. He missed the ball. He's going to go over.
And he had a beer somewhere. Oh, no, he didn't pick that up from down there. Oh, my God.
He went over with no beer.
And came back with the beer.
One, with a full cup.
There's a lot wrong with that. Swing and a miss. Coco will not be happy with that at bat. A sharp breaking ball.
Now Paul Molitor is going to make another move. He's going to Fernando. He's going to turn Lowry around. Okay.
See, look, our guy, no beer right now. There is nothing in his hand.
Oh, no, he got the guy on the left. He took his beer.
So he somehow, the other guy got the ball, but gave him the beer.
That's beautiful.
So down underneath the tarp, there was a deal made, and it lasted about 3 seconds. How did that happen? Twins, it's a good game. We've had some laughs tonight. See, the guy actually tried to make the exchange. I'll have my beer for the ball. No, that's not happening.
It's just, I'll take it.
So the guy with the shirt on the right lost his beer and the ball.
And the baseball. That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
And he gone. Meanwhile, Fernando turns Lowry about to bat right-handed. Fernando Abad.
First pitch is outside. Well, you're right about losing some weight.
Yeah.
He looks a lot different.
20 pounds.
We're not saying he had to. He just looks a lot different. Look at the numbers. Lefty's hitting 0-43 against him.
He had to make their club too. He was invited and made the club.
Breaking ball, man, that's a strike.
You know, last year with the A's, he did struggle, and as it turned out, he said he did not go to winter baseball before the 2015 season and struggled. Well, thanks, Fernando. Of all years not to go, you pick a year when you're going to be with the A's, and then decided to go back and in spring training made the team, the Twins, and obviously pitching well. There's a Bugs Bunny.
And it's ripped into left field for a hit. Well, Lowry waited on it, and he gets his second hit.
But Jed's seen enough curveballs tonight and off-speed pitches. Struck out a couple of times on curveballs. Fastball to left center. There's the changeup, and just right into this lower part of the strike zone in the wheelhouse. You see the front foot planting. Well, that's why, and again, Billy Burns must not have felt he could get a jump with the right-hander. But when you get to second base, so much easier. That's with the right-hander. Smooth delivery. Eddie Guardado's been busy. He's been every day, Eddie, in the bullpen.
Yes, he has.
So many relievers.
Abad is the 5th pitcher in this game. And now he faces Vogt. 2 on, 2 out. He's looking to get that run that they gave back in the top of the 8th back. Drilled left center field, and that'll get down for a hit, and it goes to the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes Lowry. He will score. Vogt comes through.
Boy, is that a big hit or what? Huge hit. Well, Stephen Vogt caught Fernando Abad, and you know it doesn't help necessarily. A ball, a little cut on it, and Stephen Vogt, he has found a lot of hits in the left center field area. He does it again, and that's going to do it for Fernando. But what a great hit by Stephen Vogt.
So Vogt 3 hits tonight, a couple of RBIs, and the A's now lead 7-4. We got another pitching change. We'll be back.
To baseball from June 17th to the 19th. Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, Los Angeles Angels invade the Coliseum for an action-packed 3-game series. Friday's game will feature post-game fireworks, while Sunday's contest is the perfect Father's Day gift for family time. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. That is a nice weekend of baseball. against the Los Angeles Angels.
Here's Brandon Kinsler. No relation to Ian Kinsler. So Valencia steps in. Valencia and Vogt have done major damage tonight. They got 5 combined hits, and they've knocked in 5 runs combined. So they're doing their thing out of the 3 and 4 spots in the A's lineup. Valencia, a 2-run homer and an RBI double. And that's a major broken bat, folks. So Valencia is retired, but the A's get a run on a couple of hits and a walk. Get 2 runs, excuse me, thanks to Stephen Vogt. 7-4. So a save situation, and it's John Axford who will get the opportunity. He does not have a save this year.
No, very capable though.
But he's been a closer. He has 141 career saves, so this is nothing new for him. He'll face Dozier, Mauer, and Arcia. Right. How huge were those 2 insurance runs?
Big, big.
Axford on the season, 3-1 with a 3.66 ERA. 21st appearance in 53 games for the A's. This is number 53.
And how much we talked about the A's, and for Bob Melvin and Kurt Young to have 3 closers.
Should be the first out, and it is.
You think about a night in which yesterday Matson pitched, actually Axford pitched, a couple of runners on base. Doolittle came in an inning in 3rd, and then Ryan Matson closed it out. But tonight they turned back to Axford, who pitched yesterday, and so Doolittle and Matson looking for a night off tonight and be ready tomorrow, and then the off day on Thursday. So a nice mixture of veteran guys in the bullpen.
Well, after what Bob Melvin went through last year with the struggles of the bullpen, I thought it was nice. The front office gave him 3 closers.
That's right. He deserves it.
It's no fun when you're the manager and your bullpen is not good. What do they say? It's hard to be a good manager with a bad bullpen.
That's right.
One pitch to Mauer is low. Joe Mauer is 1 for 4 in this game. He has faced Axford 6 times in his career. He's 3 for 6. A little bit low with a fastball at 97 miles an hour. It sure is an easy 97. It doesn't really look like he's throwing that hard.
Well, just think yesterday he was throwing 98, so back-to-back games. And that swing says it all right there. Fastball away, good velocity, and Joe Mauer, good hitter, likes to go to left field, but that pitch he couldn't pull anyway, or even think about putting it in play.
Waldo Arcia is the on-deck hitter. There's a fastball up around the letters, and Mauer lines it to center. So 2 for 5 night for Joe Mauer.
Stephen Vogt wanted it away. It was away, but it was up, and it's pretty good hitting by Joe Mauer to be able to get on top of a good fastball.
Waldo Arcia.
And you're right, Cap. That 2-run double by Stephen Vogt, making it a 3-run game, is huge for everybody concerned.
Here's Oswaldo Arcia, his 3rd at bat. He came in the game in the 3rd inning. Miguel Sano, the big right fielder for the Twins, beat out a play at first base. He got an RBI on the fielder's choice, but he pulled his hamstring a little bit, and he had to leave the game. Arcia came in. So I can't imagine Sano being in the lineup tomorrow. That's a big bat and a big loss for the Twins.
Yesterday they lost Santana with a hamstring injury, and big man trying to beat out, avoid a double play. He does, but the left hamstring, when he hit the bag and the Seagulls flew, and he went limping down the line, and he said, yeah, that hurts, so let's go. That look of his eyes, he was asked, how do you feel?
Not good.
It's not a good thing to ask somebody just hobble down the first baseline with a bad hamstring.
So Axford jumps ahead in the count, 1-2. Arcia has grounded out, and he has struck out. A little bit outside, 96 miles an hour. Plouffe to follow.
Axford is the 11th pitcher used tonight, and actually the A's have used fewer than the Twins, which is hard to believe considering Surkamp just went 4 2/3 innings.
Missed again, 3-2. It's been Surkamp, Dull, Subchinski, Rodriguez, and now Axford. Dull went an inning and a third. He was very good. Subchinski had a good inning. Rodriguez gave up a couple hits and a run in the 8th. High fastball, no chance. Right past Arcia. And that's out number 2 here in the 9th inning.
And in a battle like this, has to be very frustrating for a manager, Hall of Famer, who had over 3,000 hits, because he knows the importance of base runners. And that pitch right there, that's ball 4, clearly out of the strike zone. That puts 2 runners on base, the tying run of the plate. So that is something that sometimes very hard to manage when you've been good yourself as a player, and then you manage and you see those things.
That's almost like just kind of not having a plan.
Exactly.
When you go up.
Exactly.
Toward right field. This should do it, and it will. That's the ball game. So the Oakland A's have won 4 games in a row, as they are now 24-29 and starting to play much better baseball. So they'll go for the sweep tomorrow afternoon of the Minnesota Twins. Tonight's game took 3 hours and 15 minutes. Paid attendance was 12,767. Final score from the Coliseum. It's the Oakland A's 7 and the Minnesota Twins 4.